Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. Today's video is going to be my first look at our brand new Fractured Futures raid. You can see my team here, and I'm going to start off by clearing the EX level of the raid today, go on and see if Nightmare is available, and investigate what's going on with Omega since this is really my first look and I'm going in pretty blind here. I don't think that's available today, but we'll read through the notices together and I'll give you my overall impressions along the way. So my team is looking pretty good here. Of course, Audric and Foundry canonically have to be there so that we can take on Kronos, but Cleo and Ieyasu are just there for power, and of course, Yuden or Foundry is there because of his player EXP boost as well. I'm thinking I'm going to promote Audric, but I'm not going to do that in this video. I think I'm going to make a spotlight on him because I think he has a really unique and really fun kit. But here we go with EX. You are going to need those special Otherworld gems in order to play this, but whenever you have them, you can play it at any time, which is a difference than in the past. So I'm going to search for a room, and the way that past raids have worked, you typically need to clear the EX once in order to play Nightmare, and there are daily bonuses called ground bounties associated with Nightmare. So you really want to make sure you don't miss out on one of those bonuses, and for that reason, try to clear EX as soon as you can so that you can unlock Nightmare. We'll see if it's the case this time. Sometimes they have staggered and delayed the release of Nightmare so that more people become aware of it. Whoa, this is not at all what I was expecting. This is a completely different fight than Expert. Alright, he's looking really cool though, I have to say that. Hopefully that'll iframe. Oh yeah, his skill looks like it's long enough to do that. I'm gonna transform here, and looks like it's a good thing I did to avoid that purple. Let's zoom out so you can see. So, Audric is absolutely awesome with his dragon-related mechanics. He has a lot of critical rate in dragon form, and is one of really the only characters, or very few characters, who can boost your dragon gauge. Mim has the ability to do so on her first skill, like Audric does, but Audric also has a shapeshift but passive, so I think he's a really unique and really special character. Looks like we were able to beat up on Kronos Nyx without much problem, but I have to say I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to see him towering over the edge of the stage. So that was really surprising to me. I wonder what it's going to be like at harder difficulties. We're able to clear in 45 seconds, so I think that's going to be enough for us to get the title for the timed clear on this. A little bit of slowdown there, but I think we were notified that some devices will experience that, and I'm recording right now, so that's probably part of it as well. We are getting another copy of the United by One Vision Wormprint. This is going to be my 5th copy, and I think there are at least 5 in the event. There might be more that could be randomly dropped. This is a very good Wormprint, just based on the fact that it gives you 13% strength at HP 70%. Very solid all-around Wormprint, similar to Bonds Between Worlds, which we got during the Fire Emblem Heroes crossover. United Haste, I don't know if this has been fixed, but previously this wasn't really functioning as intended on Nurse Eileen, or at least seemingly not so. But the difference between that Wormprint and the one from the Fire Emblem Lost Heroes crossover is that you actually have to spend consecrated water to level it up this time. So it's a little bit harder to justify the investment in it if you already have other good strength Wormprints, like Bonds Between Worlds, like Crystallian Envoy, for Mercurial Gauntlet specifically, like Seaside Princess or Evening of Luxury. So I don't know if I'm going to level it up to 100 just yet, but we did get that, which is nice. We got a Twinkling Sand, so I'm going to accept all of that. The goodies in this raid, in terms of the emblems, also go up very far. They go up in 2,000 in both bronze and silver, and they include augments, and there are a lot more augments in gold, which goes up to 5,000 as normal. So rewards are looking good. We just also got our Quantum Cog. Man, there's a lot going on with this raid, which we can exchange for a 5-star weapon. I already know which 5-star weapon I'm going to get, so I'm going to go ahead and go over to that now. I have a lot of these 5-star weapons. It doesn't actually show how many I possess here. It just says 1 remaining in terms of being redeemed or not. but we'll go through as kind of an inventory. I have Levitain, Ionitide, Durandal, Zex's End, Dinesleaf, Heaven's Acuity. I don't have Maroasis. I have Anemone. I don't have Heaven Wing. I have Black Wing. I have Eternal Flame. Don't have Lux Lamina. Have Carl Snouter. Don't have Thunderblade Cigar. I have Honor Edge. I have all of the axes. I have Calamity Trigger, but not Ocean Lord, not Spear of the Northern Cross. Have Thunder King's Great Spear. Pretty much, I have most of these. So Mistletoe, I have all the bows. I have Ocean Monarch, Twilight Shimmer, Underworld Despair, and then I have 2 of the staffs, the bottom 2. But all of that aside, I am getting Maroasis here because I'm very low on the crafting materials on the granite that I need for granite-based weapons, and I have enough materials to already craft Heaven Wing. Once I craft Heaven Wing, Maroasis will be the last blade I need and the last granite weapon that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and redeem that just for the sake of my collection. Let's redeem it now. Strategically, I would suggest that you probably go for either a weapon that will power up a powerful Gala character that you summoned, like Underworld Despair for Galacleo, or Levitain just for your Yuden. He is very versatile. You want to take him to a lot of teams because of that player EXP, honestly, in the early game, and he's good against Jaime Kurtzstormer's Trial. Or Dainsleif, because I really think that Audric has a very unique space with his Dragon Prep mechanics to where he could be used in a lot of very interesting speed clears of things like Void Battles. He actually lets us get more Shapeshift Prep since he has it as a passive than we've ever been able to get before. So we collected our weapon. Let's go in here really quick before we move on to Nightmare, since I did see that spawn, and go ahead and get the final unbind on this Wyrmprint. Some people, if this really ends up limited to only 5 copies, there are probably some people who would use a key here so that they can keep, one base copy if they want to use in the future. I feel pretty confident I'm only going to want 1 of these, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it looks like it stays at United Haste 1, which isn't very explanatory of what it does. I think it's around 8% skill haste, or at least that's how it should work. I always like to get all my prints up to level 10 for whatever reason, just so it's congruous with the rest of my collection. I also randomly got 1 of these from the Blazing Summon box, so I'll level this one up as well. It looks like this time around, the Blazing Summon box drops Luca's Prank as a 5-star Wyrmprint, which is actually pretty solid for High Jupiter's Trial. But that's enough about the Wyrmprints. Let's get back into the action. So let's go back to Fractured Futures, and indeed, Nightmare is available today. So we're going to try this out. It says it's an exceptionally difficult raid battle, same chance of yielding Otherworld gems as Chronos Clash experts, and confers the same rewards. The first time you clear it each day, you will be rewarded with the Grand Bounty, and the Grand Bounty isn't affected by the 7-day bonus pack. So once again, we're going to do quick play here. Let's see if we're able to find a good room. Historically, Nightmares have been somewhat challenging. It's not a guarantee that you'll clear. And you can see some of these players have insanely high boosted mites thanks to the new raid boost, so maybe those are necessary, I don't know. Like I said, I'm going into this blind, but it looks similar so far to the EX. At least the boss is positioned similarly. So I expect a lot of red AoEs to come out at some point, and I'm going to try to save my S1 for that. Oh, did I get paralyzed there? I did. Oh man. Gonna get out of the way. Oh. Okay, so I see what's paralyzing me now. Wow, okay, there's a lot of afflictions going on. Sorry, teammates. I guess those lightning strikes paralyze you. Probably those flame pillars would have burnt me. Uh-oh. Yuden's dead. I might have to get rid of Yuden, even though I want the player XP. So it looks like Chronos actually uses all elements in a way. Glad I was able to dragon tank that. Because now he has black holes out. I saw some water earlier. Wind. I wonder if he's actually like true neutral. But no, it looks like in the top left corner he's light element. keep forgetting to dragon even though I see my shinobi's ready. Oh man, this is pretty sweet. What is happening right now? Well, suffice to say, I'm gonna need to play this several more times before I know what in the world is going on. But it looks like our DPS is on point to be able to clear. Let's get out our next shinobi. And every time I do that, I'm getting my Dragon's Claws as well, since I have the Shining Overlord on Audric. Honestly, he's just a really synergistic character. Okay, unfortunately... Oh man, just as I say that, he gets knocked out. Let's see if we can't spawn. What? 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 What just happened there? Everybody except one of my adventurers died, so obviously not the best performance, but I'm glad to have gotten my grand bounty. I'm going to come back to this in future days, maybe even today, just with the rest of my wings. So hopefully I can provide some instruction in a future video of how to do this, because I really don't know what just went down. I was just shocked by what the battle was actually like, but that was super cool. So here's what the grand bounty is. You typically get a succulent dragon fruit, Eldwater, or clover item. Then you get one somewhat precious unbinding piece, so a Damascus crystal, a sunlight ore, or a golden fragment. And then you get a twinkling grain, 10 of which can be exchanged for twinkling sands. It looks like now they've added bronze emblems and silver emblems as part of the reward as well, which is actually really awesome because it means if you're clearing Nightmare, you're going to be making progress toward those new higher emblem limits within the earlier difficulties. Okay, now we actually get our first look at Omega right here. Collect 3 Omega keys to unlock this difficulty. So I don't think I can play this even if I unlock it right now, but I will show you for those curious where those Omega keys are. I have seen they're at certain milestones and the game tells us this, but they're at 600 bronze and let's see for silver. Okay, I didn't see it yet. 600 silver, and for gold, I think it's at 3,000 at the very end of what's the last twinkling sand. Yeah, at 3,000. So you need all 3 of those before you can even take on Omega raids. But let's head over really quick to the notices board and just read so we're informed about the raid. Especially with a completely new type of raid like this, I would definitely suggest you read through these because there's lots of details in here. So as for this one, it says that we're getting our adventure Audric, and as usual, you can collect blazons and emblems, and also we have the dragon parallel Zodiarch, so it was Zodiarch like many people thought, and the bewitching magician Wormprint. I'll talk about those in a moment. Event duration until October 11th, but you can get your rewards until the 18th. You can trade for 1 5-star core weapon, which I already showed off. There are raid boosts, and the abilities stack up to these limits, so it's likely that some of those players with insane might totals already have played the raid a lot more than me and have much higher raid boosts, and that's reflected in their might. So that's pretty cool. That should make Omega possible and Nightmare a lot easier so that next time I can get a Deathless. Let's see what else is here. New Omega difficulty. Alright. We're adding a new Omega difficulty where you can grapple with foes even more powerful than those in Nightmare. The first time you clear Omega, you'll be able to obtain amazing rewards. To challenge Omega difficulty, you must clear the raid battle on Nightmare. Additionally, to unlock it, you must collect 3 Omega keys. You can obtain 1 from each type of emblem rewards. Alright, so there's an Omega solo, which should be fascinating. First time we've really had a solo raid. It'll unlock when you clear the battle on Nightmare difficulty. And then Omega Raid for co-op, it'll unlock when you clear the battle in solo play. So essentially, this is a gating system to make sure whatever team you bring to co-op, it's legit. You were able to clear at least the solo one, so that you're not going into this and running into people who might be a little bit over their head. So the raid version of Omega Battle is only unlocked at certain times and will not be available at other times, even if you have the conditions to unlock it. Omega Raid availability, October 5th to October 7th, and October 9th to October 11th. So I think even if we get the Omega keys now, we can't actually play that battle. Besides that, of course, it mentions the new Otherworld gem for challenging extra raid battles. You already saw how that worked and how that could drop from Expert or Nightmare. Otherwise, we have the new rewards with the bronze and silver, but actually this is about them appearing as part of the Grand Bounty. For temporary adventures, there's one thing I want to show you in just a minute, so we'll get to that. And everything else looks pretty similar here. There are some first anniversary worm prints, so I showed those off. The United by One Vision worm print, and it does clarify here, it is a first clear reward. So it sounds like there are exactly 5 that you get for free if you're able to clear all of this content. Blazing Summons, complete boss battles and raid battles. You can do Blazing Summons. That sounds like it's pretty much the same as always. Emblems looks pretty similar, but it does mention there are some augment items and rewards typically acquired from IO that can be obtained via gold emblems. There's a bonus endeavor, so this is one thing I want to show you guys. If you fulfill certain conditions, you unlock a new daily endeavor that tasks you with clearing all daily event endeavors, so you really want to try get that if you can. And the epilogue is coming October 11. That looks like it's pretty much it, so let me show you that endeavor because I don't want y'all to miss this. You want to forge your friendship today, if possible. If you do, you're going to get this extra single summon voucher, so try to forge a friendship with Audric. One of the easiest ways to do that is to use skip tickets to replay the boss battle of the raid on Expert. That's not a bad boss battle to spin skip tickets on. You're getting the full set of rewards and not really missing out on anything. Double drops for Avenue to Fortune starts tomorrow, so that's going to be a lucrative place for people to sink stamina. So it's not even a bad idea to spend a lot of stamina on Expert boss battle today. There's also a bunch of these limited endeavors here, so I'm going to go ahead and accept mine. Extra raid boss battle one is 90 seconds this time, so you saw it wasn't too hard. I feel like you'll likely achieve it with stronger players around you just by playing organically, but obviously there's some that I still haven't been able to collect, so maybe it's because I had some deaths in my Nightmare run, or maybe what I'm guessing is those are tied to Omega. So let me show off Audric himself, I'll show off the free worm print and Parallel Zodiarch, and then to wrap things up, I will also briefly just touch on my thoughts on the story as far as the raid goes. Like I said, I am hoping to do a spotlight proper on Audric, but his Exaltation Terminus, right now at level 2, you don't get this effect, but if you promote him to a 5-star, it has an extra effect where it increases the shapeshift gauge whenever you use it and it connects. I believe it's a 5% increase, which is similar to what's seen on Galamim, and only the second character able to do that. Circlet Denouement, I don't think it really does anything other than dealing damage. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it's still not bad to have a second attacking skill. And then this skill, of course, is on the 5-star Shadow Sword. As for abilities, though, Audric comes with Shapeshift Prep of 10%, meaning previously, on a team of 4, if everybody had the max amount of Shapeshift Prep from Worm Prints, you could only get up to 40% total. But for every Audric in that team, you can get 10% more. So you could have up to 80% Shapeshift Prep to start a match. And with Audric getting an extra 5% every time he uses his first skill, you could easily get that up to 100% with a couple uses of that. So I think that's a very unique ability that Audric has. It makes him very interesting for things like co-op clears of void battles, any type of speed runs, maybe even the upcoming speed runs of the High Dragon Trials. I could see him having a lot of potential. Besides that, he has Dragon's Claws. He doesn't have Dragon's Claws. I said that, but no, that's actually on the Shining Overlord that's equipped to him right now. So apologies for saying that, that's not right. He has Curse Blood, that's what I meant to say. So Curse Blood is also unlocked when he's a 5-star. When in dragon form, increases critical rate by 30%, but reduces defense by 30%. This is a very good trade-off because dragons, you can't take damage. Even if your defense is reduced, all that effectively means is that if you take a hit as a dragon, it's going to eat a larger chunk of your dragon gauge, meaning you'll transform back to Audric sooner. So it is a bit of a cost, but if you can avoid taking a hit by using your skill as a dragon to iframe, you can still stay as a dragon for a long amount of time. And now, I should say, it synergizes with things like Dragon's Claws 3, which is found on the Shining Overlord. It synergizes with things like Dragon Damage, which is found on the Bridal Queen Wormprint that I have equipped right now. And right now I would say Audric probably wants to be using a strength dragon like Marishi 10. I don't happen to have one, but those dragons do tend to be a little bit better for sword characters. Technically, Shinobi probably has higher DPS for Audric because Audric will still be doing a lot of skill damage, but especially if you're going to be shapeshifted for a long amount of time in a match, dragons only have one use of their skill, and the rest of the time they're doing auto attacks. So I could see it being where you actually want Marishi 10 if you have access to it, but since I don't have that, I decided to go with Shinobi. But yeah, this whole dragon-centric kit with the shapeshift prep to me is very, very interesting, so I'm thinking to promote Audric as soon as possible. And I say that having seen some of the data mines of the cool stuff that's coming up when it comes to Wormprints, but also some adventurers who I might want to be promoting if I'm able to summon them on the next showcase. I'll leave it at that, but you may have seen those data mines, and yes, they are super sweet. Okay, so I think that's about it. Let me go back to the raid page just to show off Parallel Zodiarch really quick, and I will also show off the Wormprint that you get for free from this. So Parallel Zodiarch, Welfare Dragon, nothing super special, critical damage and strength. It's okay. It's more of a curiosity to me than anything because I don't remember Parallel Zodiarch showing up in the story. Unless I really missed something, I remember normal Zodiarch showing up, but who is Parallel Zodiarch? Will he appear in the epilogue? That goes to my later point about a lot of loose ends with the story that I'm wondering about. But briefly, I'll just show the Bewitching Magician, nice art of Cassandra, light res and recovery potency, so this is mainly good for shadow healers, people like your Heinwalds, your Summer Vericas, Cleo from the main campaign that you get for free. And I say it's good, but what I really mean is it's good kind of as a filler print if you're in your player. It's good because it's free, you don't have to spend any Eldwater to get it, and it's likely going to be better than other prints that you may have. So it's good in that sense, but at the same time, long-term, endgame, nobody is probably going to touch this from what I can tell. So that's all I want to say about those. Now I will talk about the story. So if you don't want to hear anything about the story, now is your time to leave the video. We only got, let's see, 6 story chapters here. We started off with Yuden lamenting his inability to save Zethia. I kind of had a feeling that was going to be the point in time that the event would refer to because that's fairly early in the campaign. And we did get an influx of new players with the anniversary, so I don't think they would want to spoil things in Chapter 10. At first, it seems like Kronos is this cute little dragon who is serving you, his liege, but as it turns out, his true liege is somebody else, another incarnation of Yuden, or that's what I was led to believe after reading through it. I haven't checked out Audric's story yet since I haven't fully befriended him, but I am 100% going to read that because I am super curious as to who Audric is. Half of me feels like he is Yuden from another future, but in a later part of the event, when we meet Cassandra, she starts to call him with the letters AU, and then he corrects her and says, "Oh, just call me Audric." Who else's name starts with AU? Of course, Aurelius, the Sage King. So maybe this is actually young Aurelius trying to come back and kill old Aurelius before the other takes hold and takes over. But also, this relationship with Kronos is very specific, so I don't know. The other possibility is fifth heir, right? There's one child of Aurelius who we don't know anything about. We know they're missing or they just haven't appeared in the storyline. I thought that what Harl did at the end of Chapter 10 was kind of teasing that Harl may know something about this secret heir or missing heir. So those are all the possibilities that I see. Maybe it's somebody else that's completely different, but really a lot is left unsaid at the end of this event. we get to the future, we have this insane artwork of not crying and telling Yuden that he killed everyone in the Halidom, which is insane. And then it's just left hanging, basically. Chrono shows up and we have to fight him, but we don't know anything about what Yuden did in that timeline, but it sounds very, very dark. So I like the story. I feel like it's one of the better raids, honestly. We got future Zethia to make an appearance, even though it was kind of short-lived. We didn't really get to talk to her or have her explain her motives, in my opinion, so a little bit of a missed opportunity, but at the same time, it's a raid event. It wants to stand on its own. It can only lean on the main campaign so much, I feel. The one thing that was kind of tacky to me or disappointing was, what are we doing fighting the Cyclops, man? I feel like the time is done for these generic bosses in these raids. Like, how many reskins of Cyclops are we gonna fight? And obviously that's not the main attraction, but I had this moment early on where Yuden crosses swords with Audric, and I was like, Audric is going to be the boss battle of this raid, just like how Ieyasu was the boss battle of his raid. That would have been so sweet. Imagine if this was actually an Audric fight and there was an Audric trial here, right? That would be super cool. So I just want to encourage Dragalia devs, if you're watching this, you did a great job, loving the event, but give us some unique boss battles. They are something super special. They feel super fun. Alphonse's trial from the Fire Emblem Heroes event and Veronica's trial were like those. And then the Ieyasu battle to a certain extent, but it was much easier. But yeah, that was the one thing I really felt lacking and really wanted. I'm just sick of these reskinned enemies sometimes. Like, when you have things like the cube, right? Fighting the Cyclops, I don't know about that. But Kronos itself, very cool. Apparently very different in EX and Nightmare, which I didn't realize until this video. So expect me to continue to investigate, probe around this raid. I'm gonna see if I can get my emblems up just in case there's something going on with Omega Battle, but from what it said, it's not available, so that's what I assume, but I don't know, I just want to check and make sure. But that's gonna do it for this video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this first look at the raid, found some of the tips and information in this video helpful to you. Hopefully this raid is accessible and there's a mix of newer and older players. If you are brand new, I guess one last thing to say, don't feel bad to use the healer Cleo from the main campaign as part of your team. She is the free shadow unit you get first. There's another one who you could also feel free to include, and I think she would do quite well for you. Just use what you have. Audric is good, so you can include Audric on there. That's already 3 shadow characters. And then maybe somebody that you actually summoned from the Gala Dragalia if you pulled on that. So don't be intimidated, try a shadow team, see how far that's able to take you, and have a feeling you will be surprised at your own results. Okay, this time it's really it. Thank you once again for watching. This has been a blast for me, and I'm super pumped to continue playing this, so I'm gonna go. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time.